Hello and welcome to another episode of Mowing Moderately Overgrown Lawns. As always, if you enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up and consider sharing with your friends. I could use all support on the road to monetizing my videos. So this lawn I have mowed before, but that was before I started making videos out of them. Of course, these are the kind of lawns that people are supposed to maintain, but they don't either until they get a citation from the housing office or they want to have some kind of get-together and they want to have a presentable yard. This yard wasn't too bad, I would say. There is one area that has really thick leafy weeds, and the area I'm standing on right now has really thick bunchy grass. For most of these yards though, the process is the same to me. I'll do the edges with a string trimmer first, so that one, the mower can get as close as possible to the walls, and two, cutting tall grass with a string trimmer is going to leave really tall grass blades on the ground, and it's just going to make it look real messy. So for me, it makes sense to string trim first and then go over the grass a few times so that the mower can mulch up the grass. What's not shown in the video though is the blowing at the end, because by that point the camera was getting so hot from the sun that it started shutting down on its own. So if you were wondering if it's hot, I think that answers it. Also, I will be periodically adding voiceovers to the video, so make sure you watch the whole thing. Anyways, that's enough talking for now. Let's get back to the good stuff. Hope you enjoy. Sometimes in this business, you're gonna have to move some objects around. It's not really a big deal. Like here, I got a shovel and a rake. I'm gonna have to move that flower pot and the scooter. It's not a big deal, you know. I just move them off to the side. It probably is easier if they have a lot of stuff that you gotta move to do it all beforehand, so you don't have to stop mowing and then move it and then continue mowing. It does get pretty tedious if it's a lot of stuff. This one wasn't too bad. But for example, if they had the trampoline over a bunch of grass, then the trampoline's real hit or miss for people who mow lawns, because you can either mow around it and get down real low and mow under it, or you can move the whole trampoline, but then you run the risk of either breaking it or a customer saying you broke it and got damaged, and then that's just a real big mess. So you should come to some sort of agreement with your customer that either they move the trampoline or you just don't mow around it, and that's really up to them. You're just trying to cover yourself. For me, it's not a big deal because one, I videotape everything, and two, lawns like this will typically have a tarp under it. It's not really great for the grass, and it's probably going to be a hassle for them if they have to fix it before they leave, but you know, it's not a big deal for me. As far as mowing around the tarp, like obviously I do have to get real close to it, but I'm lucky that this is a pretty good tarp, and I know that if I was to clip it a couple times, nothing would happen to it. If anything, the string on the string trimmer would get more damaged. This is a pretty heavy duty tarp. But if you do come across a tarp that looks pretty flimsy or pretty old, then maybe you want to fold it back and mow around it, or let them know that that might be an issue. And sometimes they don't care. Like, I personally wouldn't care if a landscaper came by and then frayed off a couple ends of the tarp, but some people can be really picky. It kind of just depends, but it's always better to make sure before you start. For me, one of the things that is really annoying but is inevitable is mowing around cables. For example, they got what looks like cable or internet that looks like a stake for a dog leash. You're just gonna have to like deal with it. I always get my string trimmer tangled like that. I always fall for it. I'll take it off, I'll move it off to the side, and just to be clear, that is a dog leash cable, and it's made out of metal, so I knew that it would be fine if I did hit it. The string on the string trimmer, not so much, but that's not really a big deal. The thing is, no matter how many times I move it, I'll always end up getting stuck on it. I just never learn. And that's why I hate mowing around it, but it's not like you're not gonna mow it. Here's another example of an object you would have to move while mowing. This is definitely one of the ones where you move it while you're mowing so that when you move it you don't cover some more grass, because it is attached to the wall and I'm not about to undo the whole hose, move it off to the side, and then bring it back. So it just makes more sense to mow around it, then move it, then continue mowing. Sometimes you'll come across customers with plants like this that they want to keep intact and they take care of. You're just gonna have to try your best to mow around them, try not to damage the plant. Obviously it is a plant, so even if you did hit it, it would just recover, as long as you don't like accidentally mow over it entirely and kill it. Then it's probably gonna be a bad day. But yeah, I just do my best. There's no need to get on my knees and pick every grass blade around it. It's all grass, so just do your best to mow around it. It's no big deal. And here we go with the mowing. I feel like it's made pretty obvious, but I'll explain it just for people who don't know, that I have a side discharge. It shoots out to the left, and so the way I mow with this is I'll mow in a counterclockwise pattern so that all the grass that the mower shoots off to the left ends up getting mowed over again, and you just go in one big circle that keeps going down into smaller circles until you get to the very middle, and eventually everything gets mowed over a bunch of times. Sometimes if it's really tall grass, you end up with clumps of mulch, but again, it's all going to be in one spot, so you can just mow over it again, and you can just keep going over it until there's nothing left, or it's really fine that you can't tell. have it. Another satisfied customer. Here's a couple of before and after shots. I really hate that the camera doesn't do it justice, but it looks so much better in person. Anyways, this is the end of the video, and give me a like or subscribe if you haven't. Maybe share. It's not gonna hurt you. Just do it. Just go do it. Just right now, go do it.